you know, we acted normal. I mean, I don't know normal, but we would like set up like medicine cups in the hallway and go bowling. You know, I must say, I must have met like a lot of certified humor professionals. You know, we had a lot of the mimes and the clowns that came in. Actually, my brother said I had a very antagonistic relationship with the clowns who would come in, because I guess I just didn't want to deal with anyone for a really long time. But finding humor in retrospect, I mean, honestly, that was what was so therapeutic about doing my show. And I say it took like 10 years to heal, because I premiered this in 2012, and I don't think I really healed until I got to share my story on stage. Not only because I finally was able to share it and get it out of me, but also, you know, when trauma hits you, you don't necessarily like think of it as this beautiful like arc of a storyline and finding the meaning. You know, it was actually putting this show together that I actually had to make meaning and find, okay, like what is a good arc for a show? Like how can I construct these events? And that's why I think, you know, anything creative, expressive writing is great. You know, that's how we actually reframe our narrative. And, you know, I think people overlook the fact that, you know what, we actually have to make the meaning from it. You know, otherwise this could still just be like a long laundry list of things. So that was, and finding the humor in retrospect. A lot of that, you know, you can laugh at it now. Like I have this anecdote, you know, where my wound exploded in the middle of Costco, and at the moment it was a very traumatizing situation. Finding the humor with me, I mean, that was, you know, what Gutless and Grateful was. You know, they were laughing, you know, along with me, and it was really just basically a big confidence booster. And yeah, humor fights stigma, because you can talk about these things. And it's amazing, you know, because the medical stuff was so huge, you know, I hadn't really told anyone publicly about the sexual abuse. I remember, you know, when I premiered it, I had like one little line about it, and I was like embarrassed. I remember thinking like, oh, I hope the reviewer doesn't like notice it, because I don't want her like telling people, you know, but it shows how therapeutic telling your story is, because, you know, however many years later, I've been doing the show for 6 years, you know, I'm the keynote speaker for sexual assault events. I've moved through it so much that, you know, it feels like another world. And I think it's really just from, you know, talking about it. By the way, this was done at Yale Hospital, and I have to thank them, because all their toilet paper, that's all of my early work, and the toilet paper is still, like, I wasn't using professional supplies, but it's still preserved. It's still just a nice story of one of the paintings that I made, Dancing Girl, was actually, they just bought it back for their new oncology unit, so that was like a very full circle experience. Okay, good, I got to that part. Let's see, okay, I won't get to this. This is my next TEDx talk, which will be live hopefully soon, but I talk about that these were the 4 containers for me, and I have a lot. I try to give you a ton of handouts, but the truth is, like, I have a lot more resources on my site. But again, in retrospect, I realized, you know, I wasn't like making my own self-help book as I was healing, but I realized in retrospect that these were my 4 main containers that I kind of looked to instinctively. This was my therapy, because the truth is, I never really did get therapy, because when I got out of the hospital, you know, my parents took me to a therapist, but, you know, he said, like, she can't eat and she can't drink. Like, I can't make her sit in a room and talk about her feelings. So I was kind of left to my own devices to figure out what to do. So this is a very, like, healing, like, a la carte kind of thing, but I realized, and again, I can't go into this all in detail, but stay tuned for my next TED Talk, but I also lead detours workshops where I talk about all these things. But I do have a story for each one of those. And you know, if you give me an email too, I can send you know, articles that have this. Okay, detours. I'm gonna play this video really, really fast and show it's only a minute and a half. Here we go. So this is more about the detours.
My name is Amy Ostreicher, and I love my detour. What's a detour? A detour is a curve in the road, a bump in the path, a big sign in the middle of our trip that says, sorry, you have to go that way. Believe me, I didn't expect to end up in a coma the April of my senior year of high school. An unexpected blood clot my senior year. That was my detour. The road that followed, even with the 27 surgeries thrown in, became my beautiful detour. Without those twists and turns, setbacks and obstacles, I never would have learned so much about life, the people in my life, and what I'm capable of. If you can appreciate the little twist in your path, that makes you a detourist. A detourist looks for the upside of obstacles. They follow that twisted path because they're curious to see where it may lead. So, are you a detourist? Why wouldn't you be? That's why I want to hear from you. Share your crazy journeys, your detours, the things in life that happen that you didn't expect, whether it's a breakup, a breakdown, a broken nail. Write me and tell me what happened. Draw a picture of your detour, take a photo, sing a song, do a dance, but whatever you do, use the hashtag Love My Detour. That way we can all track each other's journeys. Think of it as a traveler's scrapbook. So consider this a field trip, detours, and start sharing your travels. Together, we're not alone. I love my detour. Now tell me why you love yours.
So again, this was like another container that I found that and every week, I have a section on my blog now where I have like a detourist write in, and all they have to do is, share any detour that happened to them and how it kind of changed them or made them who they are. And I have like over 100 stories right now, and anyone can submit. I love to have some humor people write in. But what's amazing is like a lot of people write in and be like, I'll share my detour, but like I can't really like tell you like the flower on my detour. Like I don't have it. And so I'm just like, just write about it. And it's amazing that at the end they're like, wow, in writing this I realized that because of this, I never would have gotten to hear it. And that's the whole point of reframing your narrative. So, I have a whole collection. I call it Why Not Wednesday, where, the only requirement is they have to just write and then send me a picture with the hashtag I love my detour. And what I love is all the stories are so different. You have like life-altering traumas, you have like little things that like I got lost, in the street. And then you have good things like one woman like quit her job and moved on an island to like start a clothing business. But it's all kind of the same theme of, I took a risk and I dealt with uncertainty and I never thought it would, get me. So what I love is, it's really united people, all over the place. To do this, and that was really my intention with the detour thing. Again, like I think I started it at 5 minutes because I didn't really feel like I belonged in any category, and more than that, like I felt like my story was like overwhelming people, and I really didn't want, or like overly inspiring people and not making me feel like relatable, and I wanted to feel relatable because that was how I was gonna heal, and I wanted my story to like empower people, not inspire people, which is why I came up with those kind of 4 hardcore skills to resilience, because they're things that we all have. So anyway, making this detour thing, I really felt like, we could draw commonality by, thinking like, look, my stomach exploded, but these things I experienced, the uncertainty, the anger, those are all things we deal with. Which is why I was so influenced by the archetypal hero's journey, because it's this universal narrative that we all kind of where's the presentation go? There. Where's the
right by the volume button.
Oh, yeah.
Up, a little bit up.
Up.
And then over there you
I'm
go.
also narrated. So again, all these people have written in, because I've always felt we should find our uniqueness not in what happened to us, but again, that energy, how can we use that energy? That's where we should find our uniqueness. And I think that's why, like, I wouldn't call it like a for that energy. I never liked the idea of, just like put a smile on it, because what if you don't? You're entitled on a detour to feel those, not pleasant feelings, but that's why we find containers. This is just really quickly the 12 steps of the archetypal hero's journey, which is really how I, felt empowered over what I've been through, because I didn't think of it as, oh my God, I've been through trauma and I don't know what's happening. I discovered Joseph Campbell by accident. And I'm like, oh, actually this is a cool map. I can just use this. Like, I'm a hero in the darkness, and I'm going through all these battles. And you would have thought I was crazy. Like I made business cards that called myself like Tiger Lily the Warrior. And this is my next TED Talk, which I'm really excited about because I love this idea. But it got me through. Sorry, I'm like totally just, oh good, we're at the last slide. I didn't, 2 minutes, can I do one song?
Yes, please.
I feel, all right, fine. How do I go? Okay, so humor really moves us through things and makes us feel empowered, and this was a song that I wrote that's in my show.
Enable editing for me.
Here it is. This is a song that I wrote at one of the hardest times where I didn't know if I could get through it, and again, by writing it and just moving through it, it was transformed, and now it's just a show my musical. Ta-da. Day after day is a war to get through. Hard to feel wonderful, hard to feel new. Struggling through my time resolutely, diverting myself from the pointless, why me? Life is long enough to sing my song, and I will get my turn. I know this candle's bound to burn, and I will have my time to sing. I will, even if it's anything. There's gotta be a reason I was born here. It's time to crawl out from the dusty corner. The sounds are so loud when I'm sleeping, turning and moaning and flipping and stumbling over my aspirations, stifling my exclamations. Let me out, I was wrong. Let me in, I belong. I have to be meant for much sturdier ground, meant for more than just for sticking around. Wings too worn for flight, somehow find the light. Step out the door and the battles I fight, tire and test me but don't strain my might. Looking back on faded glories I've sung, now quiet and dry at the tip of my tongue. Why so slow before my time to show all of the wonders which build deep inside, day after day while I struggle and hide? Who have I become? It's time to warn her, to find herself and sweep her from the corner. Life is long enough to sing my song, a song that's strong, that's black and blue, a song that's meant for others too. And I